Today, replacing the auxiliary fuel pump in a MK6 TDI Volkswagen. So, Bosch fuel pump goes underneath this bracket. You can get it included with the bracket, but it's really not too much effort to get the individual Bosch part and then swap the housing over. So basically we're going to take this out, swap it, get all the connections done. There's a couple things that are going to be different on this car compared to yours. This one has the CV4 disaster kit and also this hose, which goes to the outlet on the auxiliary fuel pump, has been replaced and has different style clamps on it. But that should be the only big difference. But first things first, just get some shop towels down where you expect to lose some fuel. And then we're going to start removing the shield around this so that we can actually unbolt the pump itself from the car. First thing I want to do is clamp these fuel lines and then remove them from the fuel filter so that I can pull them out of the way. These are available at Harbor Freight, AutoZone, or of course Amazon and the like. I might have to get them removed, or rather the clamps removed before I can get these on since there's a bit of a tight fit. Then I'm going to remove this line from the coolant overflow tank so that we have a little bit more workability around here. So same thing as the other two. Get the clamp on it. Slide the clamp away. And then it doesn't make a difference, but I do have a different side kit for this. I just don't have another one of the other kind. Alright, set that aside. This hose, I'm gonna get it out of its guide. There's another one back here as well. Just lay this aside. There's an electrical connection back here. So I'm going to push in on it, pull up on the tab, and then pull it up and out. Alright, this is the last line to remove. This stays with the pump itself. So we need to disconnect it from the filter housing. So I put that clamp on. Now, just do this. And this one's coming off how I wished the other two would have. So now, get this out of the way. Now we have to remove, or at least disconnect, the coolant bubble. Alright, so there's a T20 down there, down here, and I've got this electrical connection. So, same thing as the first one, push in, pull the tab back, pull the whole thing away. Then Alright, now we're going to remove the washer fluid top portion. one 10mm, and then this comes off separate. Right now, get this hose out, twist the coolant bubble to get a little bit more reach. Pull that away. And now we have access to the 2 bolts that mount the auxiliary pump in place on the chassis. Alright, this is an M10 triple square XZN, DXN, I can't remember, but 2 of those. Okay, now we're all free besides the connection, which on this car is going to the T for the disaster kit. There's a clamp here. It's going to be a lot easier to get to once you have it in this position. It is one of these style clamps, so you're going to want something like these, or the tool I was using earlier, or one of these cable driven ones that you can clamp onto with. Any other method that you try to hit it with the pliers, I mean, best of luck to you, but for this one I would personally go out of my way to get a tool better for it. But let me see if I can get better access to my clamp by removing the bolt as it's on the T right now. Alright, so on the underside we've got this cable which runs between, it gives us the positive and negative on the pump itself. This goes back, and that's that first electrical connection we disconnected. So, alright, with clean and dry hands, I've been able to just wiggle that out. And then this can stay, because it's just staying with the body. So now we need to remove this clamp. And again, the one on your car is going to be different, because this was already replaced. Alright, now with the pump free, we can take the boots off and cover up the electrical connections. These are each their own size. So the first one is an 8, and that's the ground. And the other one is a 7, which is the positive. We can remove that. I'm going to put this front rubber mount there, the back one here. Last thing to do is swap over this final fuel line, and then we can start reassembling and putting the new one in. Put a vacuum cap on the other end, so no more dripping. There we go. Gravity. Alright, let's just quickly do this then. Okay. Get our rubber back on. Does make it pretty obvious which way it's supposed to be oriented with the cutouts. Okay. And we've got larger nut first. this. Alright, got the plate that was removed. Just hooks in, and then screw it into place, or bolt it in rather. I'm going to reconnect this fuel line. Alright, next up we're going to get this back connected to the engine mount. I'm going to try to get these started by hand. Alright, there's probably torque specs for these, but I'm just going to go good and tight. Nothing unreasonable, but nothing that'll let it rattle apart. Alright, now we're going to get the hose guide in. So I'm going to put it on this bottom one first, and then start management for everything. Don't forget this back one for this hose. And the connection for the pump itself. The coolant bubble reinstalled. We're going to reattach the top of the washer fluid system. Alright, that's all snugged up again. I have the 10mm. Alright, so now we're going to start reconnecting our hoses. So this one that rides along the top is going to go in this third spot. Right. The bottom one running alongside the auxiliary pump goes on the second slot. I'm just going to remove these now. Might be a little bit of drippage, but they're just super in the way. Right, and the last one. Clamp and further than I wanted it to up. There we go. Alright, everything's back as it should be. So if you want easy understanding, there's this one back here that rides along the top. It goes into a downward fitting, comes over into the first one. The second one, on this car at least, this comes from one with a blue clamp that comes at a hard line 90-degree angle that goes underneath to this one. This third one comes from the back of the auxiliary pump. This fourth one you don't need to touch because it goes out to the high pressure fuel pump. Now that's all finished, go ahead, grab some rags and clean the area off. We're going to have to now bleed the system itself. So we've done all the hardware part, now we need to go into the software and run the in-tank fuel pump to get fuel to the auxiliary pump, and then run the auxiliary pump to fill up all the lines afterwards. You might be able to get away with just running the auxiliary pump, but I don't know if it's problematic to run it dry, so we can just play it safe and do both. So I'll show that process in a moment. Other things that you're gonna wanna know, again, wipe everything off so that you can see if anything at all gets wet afterwards. And then if you have done the coolant line here, removing that off the bubble, go ahead, double check that you aren't too low on coolant now. You likely probably didn't lose much at all, but just double check that. Otherwise, should be good to go.
In VCDS, you're going to want to go to the engine module. Then you're going to want to go to output tests, open up the dropdown and select the fuel pump relay control circuit. This is going to be for the in-tank fuel pump, as opposed to the auxiliary fuel pump that we just replaced. So go ahead and run this. You're likely going to hear humming from the fuel pump itself. You're going to hear some air bubbles escaping. You might hear some whining, and that's just air escaping in the system. You might hear some bubbling noises, but go ahead and let this run until the sound sort of equalizes. Because once the sound equalizes, you can be pretty sure that the system is full up to the point of the auxiliary fuel pump. Then we're going to go in and run the auxiliary fuel pump. That one is once again inside of engine, but instead of output test, we're going to go to basic settings. Then we're going to go to group 35. From there, you can read the on-screen instructions. We're just going to run this for 30 seconds at a time until, again, like the last time, the sound normalizes. After that point, go ahead, start the car. It might take a moment to start up, but it should be good to go. If it's not, go ahead and run this a few more times.